Welcome to the Stop Overdrinking and Start Living podcast, where high-achieving working moms come to learn how to stop overdrinking, reduce overwhelm and anxiety, and show up like the players they were meant to be. I'm your host, Angela Mascenik, and let's dig in. Welcome to episode 23, What to Do When You Overdrink. Hello, hello, hello. How are you guys? Everything is fantastic over here in beautiful North Carolina. I am enjoying the summer. It is June. Oh my gosh, you guys, half the year is over. Isn't that crazy? June is an awesome month for me. I'm coming up on 1 year of not drinking. Can you guys believe that? It's been a year since I've had alcohol. It blows my mind. And that was never my goal. My goal was always just to stop over drinking and to reduce my desire for alcohol. And I cannot believe that it's been a year. And I'm not even keeping track really. I'm like noticing as the months go by and I reflect back to the year or to the month of the year before. And you guys, it's been almost a year. It was sometime in June. I don't even know the exact date that I had my last glass of wine. And I don't say that I'm never going to drink again, and I don't like to label myself as sober. I just don't drink, and I have no desire to drink, and I also am not scared of it. If I wanted to have a drink, I would plan for it, and it would not be a big deal at all. I just really don't want to. So I'm pretty amazed about what can happen in a year, and I'm loving all this success that I'm hearing from you guys with implementing some of the things that you've been learning and trying, and my private clients are killing it. So I'm just super excited about everything for the summer of 2019. And I wanted to focus today's episode on what to do when you do overdrink. So I've included a lot of strategies in the podcast and in my classes about how to stop overdrinking, but I haven't really talked about what to do when you overdrink. So I'm going to get into that into the podcast here in just a second. But the biggest issue for me was not actually the overdrinking. It was the after the overdrinking that was the most frustrating for me. The way I felt, the thoughts I had, the negative self-talk, beating myself up, wondering why I couldn't control how much I drank, all of that nonsense. And how I would overeat the next day, or I couldn't exercise like I had planned to. And I would feel so bad about overdrinking that often, I would just say screw it and I'd have a drink the next night, starting that cycle all over again. You guys hear my dog? She's rolling around on the floor. She always has the most perfect timing of, she's pretty good, sleeping and laying around all day. And then when I go to record the podcast, she decides she's going to get up and roll around and growl around on the floor. But anyway, all of this that I would experience after I overdrink would be very subtle. From the outside, you might think I'm just tired or had a headache or I was feeling lazy or just sort of out of it. But on the inside, I was a big fat mess. So this podcast episode is about how to handle failures when you overdrink or drink when you hadn't planned on it. If you've been following along, you know that I recommend you plan your drinks 24 hours in advance so that when you are drinking, you aren't in response to your whims and desires to drink in the moment. And the reason why we are overdrinking is because we have an over-desire for alcohol, and we have developed that over-desire because we have given in to our in-the-moment urges and desires to drink over and over and over again, often for years, right? So if you're doing some of the work that I recommend and you are planning your drinks in advance and allowing your urges to be fully processed instead of avoiding them or giving in to them, I want you to know how to handle failures. And I'm going to tell you exactly what to do if you do overdrink or give in to that urge to drink when you hadn't planned to. So if you are able to, you guys, if you have your journals, I would grab them or a piece of paper. So if you are able to, in the moment, when you decide to have that unplanned drink, I want you to try and capture what you are feeling. What emotion are you experiencing? What does it feel like? And I want you to write that down. And then I want you to write down what you are thinking, what thoughts are going through your mind. And it might be as simple as, I'm going to have a drink, or I want a drink, or I deserve a drink, or I've been doing good for so long, or I'm just going to have a drink. It's really important to try and stay conscious with exactly what you are doing, all right? So bring it to the conscious level. Take note, write it down if you can. If you aren't able to capture your thoughts and feelings in that moment that you are drinking, I want you to write down exactly what happened the next day. Try and recall what you were thinking and doing, and I want you to write it out. Ask yourself, what was I thinking? What was I feeling? And then I want you to write those answers down in your journal. And then ask yourself what you weren't willing to feel, right? Was it anxiety? Was it stress? Was it anger? Was it happiness, sadness, boredom? Then ask yourself what you learned about yourself in that moment. If you were able to identify what feeling you weren't willing to feel, that is huge. If you were able to identify what thoughts you were having, that is huge. Your thoughts and feelings in this moment are everything. They drove your action to drink. So if you can get a clear understanding of what they were, then you will be prepared next time you start having those same thoughts and feelings. And I promise you, you will. We call this exercise, write it out and move on. Do this exercise and then manage your mind. Ask yourself what this failure means to you. Ask yourself, what am I making this mean about my ability to stop over drinking? Or do I believe that I'm still capable of stopping over drinking? Am I still committed to this process? Do I want to continue this journey to stop over drinking? And then why or why not? And when you engage with yourself and ask yourself these hard questions, you'll be uncovering your beliefs about yourself and your commitment to this work. This is really, really good information to know. If you say, no, I don't believe that I'm capable of stopping over drinking, that is really good information. Just because you might not believe it now doesn't mean you never will. Remember, a belief is just an ingrained thought, and you can change it. If your answer is yes, I absolutely believe I can do this, that reinforces your commitment to yourself. By the way, when you fail or go off your plan, having a coach to help you see what went wacky is invaluable. This is one of the best things about having a private life coach. I can help you quickly move past your failures, learn from them, and use them to propel you forward instead of you getting stuck and staying where you are or giving up. The last question I want you to ask yourself is what you would be willing to do differently the next time you have a strong urge to drink. What weren't you willing to do this last time? Are you willing to do it next time? Answer that question and you will have the exact path you need to take to ensure success the next time you are experiencing that urge to drink. Do you see how this failure can actually be the exact thing that needed to happen in order for you to learn and grow? Nothing has gone wrong, right? People that have had major success in their lives are willing to fail. They are willing to go all in and fall on their faces. If you think their journey to stop over drinking looks perfect, you are wrong. Expect to have failures. How many failures are you willing to have to achieve success? Really think about this. Are you willing to fail 20 times, 100, 200? Are you willing for it to take 2 months, 6 months, a year, 2 years? I just finished with one of my badass clients who has had serious success in 8 short weeks. She told me that her life was basically on pause for the past 5 years. She was heavily over drinking, spending all of her extra money on booze, wasn't seeing her friends or doing anything fun outside of work because she was so stressed and anxious all the time that all she did was come home from work and drink. She did this for 5 years until she decided enough was enough and she signed up for coaching. She just undid 5 years of over drinking in 8 weeks, y'all. Her anxiety is dramatically reduced. Her emotions are more even. She feels happier. She is doing more of the things she loves, like painting and writing and playing music. She's able to handle the ups and downs and outside circumstances of life much easier. And she hasn't had a hangover in over a month. That was huge for her. She sticks to her drink plan of only having a few drinks on the weekends. And now she's so excited to have this issue behind her. She is excited about what the future holds for the first time in years. Y'all, she had failures, a lot of them. But she didn't let those failures hold her back. She did the work. She committed to it. She got coached. She wrote out her thoughts. She was open to feeling her feelings and changing everything to get a handle on this problem. What are you willing to do? I'm willing to fail all day long. I'm willing to go all in and fail over and over and over again. Because if you are failing, you are trying. If you are failing and learning, you are growing. Failures are required for major growth. If you don't fail, you aren't reaching far enough. You aren't challenging yourself enough. Don't be scared of failing. Don't set yourself up so that it's easy, right? Don't plan to drink 4 drinks on a night out with your friends because you're scared of failing or that you won't stick to only having those 2 drinks. I want you to think about this for a second. So say your goal is to be somebody that can have 1 or 2 drinks occasionally, socially with your friends. Right? Like maybe once or twice a month you go out with your friends and you have a drink or 2, if that is your goal. Most of my clients, that is their goal, right? But they get scared of failing before that first social event. So they plan to have 4 drinks because they want to have a buffer for themselves, right? They don't want to fail. They don't want to set themselves up for failure. So they plan to drink the 4 drinks. So they go out with their friends, they drink the 4 drinks, and they're proud of themselves because they stuck to their drink plan. That's not challenging enough, okay? That's like failing ahead of time, right? So why don't you plan to have the 2 drinks and you're open to failure? And then you learn from that failure. You understand what you're thinking and feeling in those moments when you went to pour that 3rd and 4th glass of wine or have that cocktail, right? So this is what I mean. Don't plan to drink 4 drinks on a night out with your friends because you're scared of failing, that you won't stick to that drink plan of only having 2 drinks, right? That's too easy. That's like taking the easy road, right? You want to put yourself in those situations that are hard. And if you fail, you learn from it and you can move on. What if failing was a requirement to get to your end goal? It is. I promise you, the more opportunities you put yourself all in, you're willing to fail, the more success you'll have. Challenge yourself. Go all in. When you fail, pick yourself back up. Ask yourself those questions. Here they are again. What was I feeling? What was I thinking? What did I learn? What wasn't I willing to do in that moment? And what will I do differently next time? And then move on. Answer those questions and then move on. Don't let yourself keep thinking about it. Don't keep yourself stuck in the past. It happened. You know why. Now look towards the future. Take actions towards your goals. The more you stay stuck in reviewing the past and beating yourself up, the longer you will stay stuck and you'll waste time progressing towards your goals. Charge forward. Tell yourself this is part of the process and keep going. You've got this. You really do. If you want my help so that you can charge through this issue in record time and undo years of overdrinking in record time, schedule that free 30-minute consult with me. The link is in the show notes. Also, if you haven't attended one of my live classes and you're interested in diving a bit deeper into this work, you must join me for my 3 Steps to Stop Overdrinking Masterclass. I am holding them frequently over the next month. The link to register will also be in the show notes. These classes combine the most important things you can do to stop overdrinking right away, and you get to see me teaching live, and you have the ability to interact with me and ask me questions on the spot. They are fun, informative, and you will leave feeling empowered. Also, they are free. The registration link is in the show notes. Don't be afraid of failing. Put yourself out there, do hard things, and grow, my friends. I love you. We'll talk to you next week.